I've got to spend a moment on the backlash to Meet the Press for, quote, platforming Donald Trump. I went through this when I was at NBC for, quote, platforming Alex Jones. It was absurd. Like, as if you can only interview Mother Teresa. That's it. That's okay. There was a complete meltdown. The left calling for a boycott of Meet the Press, of Kristen Welker, saying she sold her soul and no one will ever watch her again. And NBC, in typical cowardly, tail between the legs, I don't use the P word, but it's P word fashion, decides to provide cover for her, David, by not just having her, like a grown-up, go out there on the air and say, this is why I aired it. This is why we interviewed President Trump. You know, this is why we thought it made sense. They bring on Peter Baker of the New York Times, you see, because the lefties will listen to the New York Times providing Kristen Welker with absolution. And here's how that went.
We have gotten criticism for just sitting down with former President Trump. He is the former president. He's facing 4 indictments as journalists. Just set the scene, the backdrop, why there is still news value and value for the public to hear from him.
Well, this is a huge challenge for American journalism, of course, right? It cannot be that a person can run for president of the United States, be a front runner in his party, and possibly win without ever being challenged by a tough, independent interviewer. And that's, I think, an important part of our system. Now, it obviously is a challenge for us because he is just going to spout out one thing after another, and fact-checking in real time is a real hard thing. But what you've done here is edit it and make sure people understand what's real and what's not.
Oh, my Lord. First of all, she's not independent, not even close. She works for NBC News. This is a leftist interviewer. But platforming should be a no-brainer. The guy is probably going to be the GOP nominee for president, David.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the same thing happened when CNN did that town hall with Caitlin Collins moderating. I mean, they basically invite Trump into the lion's den. You make no mistake, it's not just the moderator who's up against Trump. They've got the entire studio and all the producers in the earpiece, feeding her lines to basically, try and get Trump. And, the thing about Trump is that he just seems uniquely good at dealing with these types of situations. I mean, the more hostile the interviewer, the better he does. And so when their best laid plans don't work out, then they start wringing their hands and saying, why do we bring him on? It basically redounded to his benefit. This is the second time that's happened.
That's their nightmare scenario.
Yeah. I mean, remember, they were talking about firing Caitlin Collins for that town hall because supposedly she didn't do enough job getting Trump. I mean, the same thing's happened here. There's just something about Trump. He is preternaturally good about dealing with these hostile interviewers. It's his best format. And I think that in your interview with him, the more, those segments where you challenged him, I thought that those were the best, most interesting segments. And then in other interviews I've seen where the interviewer just kind of lets him talk, he kind of rambles. He's just not as sharp and concise. So I think he's just uniquely good at these formats. And then, again, when it goes horribly awry, the liberal media starts wringing their hands and wondering why they did it.
Right. And like, okay, you could keep him underground for the next year and a half. You know what that's going to lead to? Victory. I mean, it's not going to help them to only allow Trump to go out there at his rallies and talk to mostly friendly interviewers. Like, it's not going to help them either way because he's very camera friendly. He drives ratings. People love the entertainment of Trump, even if they don't much like him or want to vote for him. In any event, yeah, you can feel the panic.
And it's the media's job. It's the media's job to challenge these candidates. I mean, the real question here is not why they're having Trump on the show. It's why they are not interviewing Biden. Where is Biden? Why are they letting him hide? Are they going to let him run another basement campaign? I guess this time it'll be done from the Rose Garden. But still, I mean, the question is not why are they interviewing Trump? It's why aren't they interviewing Biden?
Millions of Americans earn and use credit card rewards. A few big box retailers want to take those rewards away. That's according to the Electronics Payments Coalition, a sponsor of today's episode. Rewards you may use on groceries and school supplies, cash back to save on gas and grow small businesses, and travel miles to make memories. The so-called Credit Card Competition Act would eliminate credit card rewards. No more travel miles and no more cash back. Visit handsoffmyrewards.com to learn more. And if you would like to help them, tell your legislator to stand up to the retail giants and to support consumers and small businesses. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.